And now to a story you will not see anywhere else. Only Eyewitness News spoke with one of the survivors of the FSU shootings.
21-year-old Ronnie Ahmed is from Apopka, and he's now paralyzed. Channel 9 anchor George Estevez went to Atlanta, where this college student is learning how to adapt to life in a wheelchair. And George, you spent 2 days with Ronnie, and you told me he remembers every single thing from that day.
Yes, he does. He told me he remembers first seeing the gunman, how he came at him, and the most chilling detail from that night, the look in the gunman's eyes.
Pretty much knew instantly when I got shot what was happening with my body.
The first bullet forced Ronnie to the ground.
When you felt the bullet, what did you think?
I just couldn't believe that this was actually happening.
The second struck his shoulder,
because I could feel my lungs filling with fluid.
At that moment, Ronnie saw the shooter, Myron May.
You saw his eyes?
Yeah.
What did you see in them?
Nothing. I mean, just someone that was crazy, honestly.
Ronnie knew more people could get hurt, so he had to stop the gunman.
I looked at my arm, realized it was shattered, and then looked at the person standing next to me and told him to call 911.
But the other student took off.
When the kid ran away and handed me the phone, I was like, oh man, like, I'm alone, I'm bleeding profusely, I can't use my legs, my arm is completely useless.
But Ronnie's call went through.
911, what's the address of emergency?
They asked who was shot, and I was like, me, of course.
The gunman kept roaming the campus, inciting chaos. He shot 2 more people outside. Then, police arrived.
And I can hear them screaming at him, freeze, drop your weapon, drop your weapon, drop your weapon. And then 20 to 30 bullets.
Ronnie's call ended the nightmare at FSU, but still bleeding out, there was one more call he wanted to make to his mother.
I wanted them to at least have heard my voice one last time.
What would you have said to him?
That I loved him, nothing else.
Well, Ronnie got to tell his family that in person later that night, and he says they're the reason why he will survive this. His sister, of course, being a huge part of that. And coming up at 6 o'clock, more of my exclusive conversation with Ronnie. We are with him during the first day of rehab, and it is to watch him go through that is pretty incredible.
Very powerful stuff. What about the city of Apopka? How are they responding to try to help Ronnie?
Yeah, that's where he's from. And first of all, with money, there's a fund account. We're going to get into that on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock. But also with cards, he still says he's opening emails and messages from people, both here at home and at FSU.
Eyewitness News is the only station that can show you what life is now like for the FSU student shot by a gunman.
At 5 o'clock, Ronnie Ahmed told us how he was able to call police even though he was badly wounded, lying on the ground with life-threatening injuries. Channel 9 anchor George Estevez spent 2 days with the Apopka native. And George, we watched the first part of your interview at 5, and his determination is just astounding.
Isn't that incredible? And to think he wasn't even supposed to be outside the library at the time of the shooting. That's what really gets you. He said he decided to take a break from studying for finals, but that break put him in the path of the gunman.
2, 3.
Just learning how to move.
Great.
Using new muscles.
Find that point where you can lean forward a little bit.
And reaching out has never been so hard.
How are you going to beat the odds?
I'm not going to stop.
A not-for-profit hospital in Atlanta, specializing in rehabilitation for people with spinal cord injuries.
Again, let me know when you feel it.
Where he will get a sense of his new reality, which was forced upon him outside Strozier Library at FSU the night Myron May fired at him.
Did you think, what if I die here?
Yeah, that crossed my mind for a second. I was really worried that, I wasn't going to be with my family anymore.
Even facing death, this 21-year-old was selfless.
I think a lot of it was my Eagle Scout training, and I knew that in that circumstance, police needed to get there as soon as possible.
Ronnie called 911. Police arrived and killed the shooter.
Do you feel anger toward May? After all, he's changed your life.
No, I feel sorry for him. He's gone. I'm still here. I can still do things, I'm held back a little bit right now, but that's just for now.
Before, the Apopka native was a hit as a fire-breathing bass drum player at Lake Highland Prep. Then at FSU, he majored in biomedical engineering. He was studying for finals in the library that night.
Just taking a break outside, talking to some friends.
Normally, you wouldn't have been there.
Nope.
So you weren't really supposed to be where you were?
No.
Ronnie doesn't want to let anyone down, not his family.
There's no way I could possibly thank them.
Nor the perfect strangers who have donated to his YouCaring account.
Okay, you got your balance for a sec?
Which has already raised close to $200,000.
Do you think this is going to change you for the better?
More motivation. Because I know I'm going to get it back and, I'm going to go back to exactly what I was doing, just doing well in school.
It's going to give him more motivation. Next for Ronnie, 2 months of rehab and then finishing his degree at FSU. He wants to go back to graduate and focus now on spinal cord research. It just gives you chills.
Yeah. Really so articulate. We were just talking about that in the newsroom. You know, what a great attitude. He does have health insurance, but with this type of recovery, there are a lot of expenses. That insurance does not cover it.
It sure doesn't. He actually told me while he was lying on the ground, bleeding, waiting for the police, he was thinking about how his parents, who own a small business here in town, were going to pay for all his medical bills. And a recovery like this, I checked, $1 million for the first year, you guys, and then $70,000 for each year after for the rest of his life.
Good heavens. Well, it looks to me like nothing's going to keep him down.
That's the best part about him.
Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Thank you, George.
Well, this young man's incredible story is on our website. You can hear all of it, start to finish, by logging on to WFTV.com/video.